Look at the chin on that man. I'm Jackie.
War never changes. Except that one time when we had a man off instead. I'm Justin.
No bang, no whimper, instead this shit. I'm Sam, and this is the Final Sanction on Stinker Madness.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at me!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at me!
No more hangers!
It stinks.
Hangers!
Get to the chopper! Stinker Madness.
Welcome to Stinker Madness, a podcast about bad movies for bad movie lovers by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, Justin. With me are always Sam and Jackie. This week on the show, we got another David A. Pryor masterpiece from 1990 starring Ted Pryor, Robert Zadar, and Bill Smith in The Final Sanction, currently streaming on Amazon Prime and probably 1,000 other places, but it's all on Prime. So, hello to Jackie. Is this the first time you saw Final Sanction?
Yes.
Okay. Is this the first time you've really got a good look at the Zadar chin?
No, because he was in that cop movie,
Yeah,
Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop and Samurai Cop. We watched both of those. But this is probably the most chinniest, I think, though. 1990s chin is when he got stung by all the bees in his face.
I guess. Well, this was just before he started eating all the hamburgers.
Oh, okay. Before the rest of his face caught up to his mouth.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this is peak physical condition for Zadar as far as I'm concerned. Or as far as I know, anyway.
Sure. Well, should we just have you give us what you know, Sam? Start your boring bullshit now?
Why not? There's
Okay.
like two sentences, because there's not much to know about David A. Pryor films other than they're David A. Pryor films. Renee Klein, the actress, who you will look at and go, you know what? I bet she makes a good casserole. She's pretty much only in David A. Pryor films from this year.
Okay.
She did, she had a couple extra spots, and then she did something for like In the Heat of the Night, but in 1990, this is when AIP's really heating things up, so to speak.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we're cooling things off.
Well, I would say it's hot. In 87, David O. Pryor did 3 movies. 88 and 89, he did 4 apiece. In 1990, he did 5 movies.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's in 4 of them.
What can you tell me what those 5 movies are besides Final Sanction?
The Lost Platoon.
Okay, we saw that with
Futures.
Isn't that with Fritz Matthews and Ted Pryor, where Ted Pryor's an escape nut job and
Yep.
Okay, yep.
Future Zone with David Carradine, which we haven't seen, I don't think.
I have seen Future Zone.
I have not. Invasion Force, which is that one that we watched that has Renee Klein in one of the leads, and it's the like movie people are in the woods, and then they have to turn into a fighting force, basically.
Right, remember that was a good time.
Yeah. The Final Sanction, and then Lock and Load, also starring Renee Klein.
Okay. Who else is in Lock and Load? Is Ted in that one?
Nope. Nobody you've heard of other than Renee Klein, and you really haven't heard of her.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. I certainly prefer David A. Pryor movies that have his brother in it. But what else you got? Anything fun?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, that's it.
All right. Well, we just lost all the audience.
5 movies is a lot for 1 year, though.
Yeah. I don't think he spent very much time on this one because, boy, is it poorly thought out. It was also shot in Mobile, where all the other films are. I thought they might have gone someplace for this one, but no, they just went into the backyard again.
Yeah, I mean, when they go into there's the government, like they're supposed to be in the Pentagon or something, and there's like a Pioneer mural on the wall. It's obviously a grade school.
Right. I also like that some of the locations where Zadar and Pryor are hunting each other seem very familiar to a certain movie that was also filmed in their backyard, Deadly Prey.
Yes.
So let's just do that again, guys. Let's just, we'll have a barbecue afterwards. Is Fritz coming over? No, Fritz is not coming over. God damn it. Why can't we get Fritz in here instead of Robert Zadar? Maybe Robert Zadar and Fritz Matthews are actually like the same type of guy to hang out with. Like they're both good at fake fighting and, good for a barbecue afterward.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
With chin like that, you think you'd be able to take a few, huh?
We'll get into that. Jackie, you got any final thoughts before we dive into this thing?
It was really hard to watch Zadar get hit in the face
Right.
because you really didn't want his face to get any more puffy.
Swollen.
It looked like he had a bee sting.
Yeah, no, he looks like he's allergic to bees, and he blew up.
And it's kind of weird because his skin almost looks like plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really move. But then when he smiles, it's like, oh my God, his face does move. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
Because he says he has a disease or something, right?
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that it's a thing, right? It's not that he went in, said bigger, 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 more cheekbones, more chin, bigger, bigger. The guy just like holds shift in the keyboard and whoop, and he gets the plastic surgery. He goes, "Now I'm beautiful." Walks out and people are like, "Oh my God!"
I wonder if it's like giganticism or something,
That's what he says. Is it something like that on his face, but only his face, completely uniform in a way that looks like plastic surgery that was just not a botched attempt. I think whoever did that did a fine job making his face too big.
Right.
It just looked to me like he had a bunch of fillers, especially in his lips.
Fillers.
And that's where they put Botox and
Collagen
injections into your lips and into your face to make your face look fuller.
Oh, they give you the old Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But make these lips bigger, please. Why don't they just put collagen in boobs? Why wouldn't that work?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because everyone that goes in for a boob job does what Robert Zadar did to his face to their boobs.
Yeah. You just
we could do something subtle that would just make them shapely hair a little bit bigger. They're like, nope. I want a couple rocket ships on my chest, please.
I want my breasts to have weird chins, please.
Yeah. This one needs a different time zone than this one. Thanks.
That's how you make him look natural.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the Final Sanction. It starts out, we've gone to DEFCON 5, guys. Sort of. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what the fuck happens in this movie half the time because the dialogue is very poorly delivered and none of it really makes sense because it doesn't line up with the shot, but I'm going to try to estimate what happens at the beginning here.
Wait, I want to talk about the joke.
Oh my God.
Oh, the stealth bomber jacket?
Yeah. I thought that was very funny.
Oh, I did not.
And then the guy was like, "Shut up, Steve."
That was dumb, Steve. That was a dumb joke.
He's just annoyed because you know that Steve tells those kind of jokes every fucking day at work.
Yeah. These two missile techs get notification that the World War III is happening and that they need to launch the missiles. Now, we get a bunch of archival footage here of missiles being launched, missiles being exploded. One of them detonates over what appears to be Houston, and then another one detonates along the side of the highway where it already seems like it's post-apocalyptic. There's a bunch of burned up cars, and then a bomb detonates. And then we get news. The bombs have been shot at the Russians, and the Russians have been shooting at the USA, but it's all military stuff, so everybody's okay, but maybe we're going to blow up cities next time. Back to you in the office, Jan.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense because they blew up Houston and everybody's like, well, geez, we're on the brink of fucking war.
Houston was a shithole anyway.
That's what I was going to say. Look at all those cockroaches. They're still jiving.
That was a different movie. The giant mutated nuclear cockroaches was definitely not in the Final Sanction.
Could have been. It is Houston.
Houston's really nice. Why are we throwing Houston under the bus?
Since when?
I thought Houston was like cool now.
I don't know. I just thought that 4 of the 10 biggest cities in the U.S. and worst crime rates in the U.S. are all in Texas, and Houston's one of them.
Oh, fuck. I thought it was like Austin.
I heard they have a lot of stabbings there.
Austin is supposed to be the nice spot of Texas, and I just know 2 people that have recently went there, and they're like, maybe that's nice for Texas. I'm not going back to Texas.
Wow. Shit. Okay. Well, we don't have a lot of listeners in Texas, so I guess, they can be like Des Moines. We can start making fun of Texas and lay off Des Moines for a little while.
Yeah. This month on Stinker Madness, eat shit Houston all month.
Don't worry, Houston. We have no room to talk. We live in Idaho, and it sucks. Don't move here. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. Jackie made an astute point that during all this news, we've got a lot of shots of concerned faces in the U.S., and they're all young and beautiful and strong, and then cut to Russia where everybody's old as shit.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even have a TV there. They're just standing outside listening to a loudspeaker.
Right.
Because they're poor.
Mm-hmm.
And old.
And old.
Yeah, they're very old. So we don't need to feel very bad about blowing up the Russians because it's just a bunch of old people anyways, right? David A. Pryor. I mean, I can't think of anything else that he's trying to do here with this shot other than being like, see, we're cool. They suck.
Uh-huh. Don't go to Russia. It's boring and full of old people. They don't have TVs.
Then,
and if they did have TVs, the TV would be stupid.
So then, I think the U.S. and the Russians have a meeting where everybody has a blind vote to reach an agreement. I can only assume that the agreement that they reach is the proceedings for what's about to happen, the final sanction. Is that what we're getting here?
That's what it looks like. It looks like that we've gone into a silent ballot. One that is long as fuck.
Right?
Like, it's like 3 minutes of people just putting pieces of paper into this fucking chalice.
Yeah, it's like James Nguyen directed this scene and made sure that we saw the cars drive off and park.
Yeah, exactly. And the result of the secret ballot is we shall decide the fate of the earth in single combat.
Right.
You know what I thought was great was that it was a secret ballot, but everybody has to handwrite shit. And there's one guy in there, Gary, who wrote something down like, I don't know, just let him do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, Gary, this isn't a real fucking suggestion, you dick.
Also, can I have more coffee, please?
And we could tell it's your handwriting, Gary, so don't fucking deny it.
What happened is that they, at the very beginning, before they passed out the pieces of paper, he goes, all right, we're voting on whether or not we're going to decide this with single combat. Go ahead. And then most people don't know if there's an alternative or what's going on. So half of the votes are, I guess so. Other than half is like, what does yes mean?
I don't know.
And then he tabulates the votes by going, I guess I wasn't very specific. Single combat it is.
My favorite was also that I thought this was supposed to be like the UN. And there's only American and Russian flags on the table.
Well, that's because it's the meeting between the U.S. and the Russians. They're coming to an accord, an agreement.
I bet Gary's from Russia. He probably doesn't even have a TV.
So
if he does, it just plays Lawrence Welk all fucking day long.
Right.
Only in Russian.
And the one and the two. So Nate, we now get introduced to our man, Ted A. Pryor, or actually just Ted Pryor. He's up to his old fighting ways. He's at Fort Leavenworth, the prison, I guess, the military prison that's outside Fort Leavenworth that may or may not exist. And he's one tough guy, beating up some dudes. Everybody's got money on it, and
He jumps on a guy's back and starts beating him like an angry gorilla.
Like in the ear.
Yeah, it was the most awesome move I think I've ever seen. It is the move that I fantasize about if I ever get into a bar fight, is jumping on somebody's back and just beating them with my fists. Because they
Punching him in
can't
the
get
back
you
of the
off.
neck.
What?
Oh no! If somebody jumps on my back, I'd beat him off.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
Oh, then you guys would be stuck together. Because it would be sticky.
Okay. Oh, now I get it.
Okay.
Now it's funny. Still not funny. Okay, so he wins. He beats this guy up, but the guy takes a cheap shot at him, sucker punches him while he's not looking, and knocks him out. He wakes up on a gurney, and he's like, "What the fuck? No, son of a bitch! I'm not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be doing this to me. Let me go."
So that's what the Russians have. This guy that's ultimately trained. He's gonna later withstand level 10, whatever the fuck that is.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna take a guy that just got beat up.
Right?
Seems like a good idea. And put a radio in his head. I thought that they were going to genetically modify him to make him an ultra soldier.
It's the editing is so bad right here because we cut from Ted getting knocked out with gas to a from the ground boots pan up of Robert Sadar, implying that Ted Pryor came out of surgery and became Robert Sadar.
Then somebody was like, "You put too much face on him."
Tone down the face. God.
And this is where it gets fucking awesome.
Oh my
Because
God.
he is slow walking through an abandoned warehouse, and these targets are popping up on the side of like pillars. Pillars. I can't say it right. Fuck you. And he has some weapons. And at first you're like,
he actually doesn't
is
have
that
weapons.
a fucking folding shovel? And it takes you like, after 2 targets, you're like, yep, that's a folding shovel. I want one of those for my camper.
Right.
And I'm wondering, do they just throw them away afterwards? Because I would like to have one.
I don't think they're used for weaponry, though.
But I guess if you go anywhere that Russia fights and they send these guys, you're going to be able to get a free compact shovel, foldable shovel, because they just, they're not going to pull them out of the dead bodies. So you just walk along after a fight and be like, yes, foldable shovels. I'm selling these on eBay.
I just don't understand how a person could do worse than selecting, like, the Americans just selected a guy who just got beat up, and the Russians are like, "Oh, we'll do you one better. Our guy fights with shovels."
Maybe it's like that old saying, like, if you went to war with China and they all had brooms and we had our weaponry, we'd still lose because there's that many of them. Maybe it's the same with Russia. You give them shovels and they'll win. They got so many of them.
They got them on a discount.
Yeah, Costco.
Yeah, and they were like, well, I guess this is the new special forces.
Would Russia's Costco actually be called Bosco? Or Moscow?
It's
called
Bosco's
Moscow.
a delicious chocolate drink.
Bosco. Or maybe they're very environmentally minded. So, war's a very Bernie affair. There's always fire whenever there's war. So, they just put out the fires with their shovels after they kill guys. They want to keep things nice.
They have crack teams of paratroopers that, once the commandos are done making war, they clean up everyone's dog poop.
We just fought this war for nothing. Oh, yeah, I think it's pretty nice here now. There's bodies everywhere, but no poop.
Later, we're going to find out that he only brings X amount of shovels with him. But in this first scene, you're wondering, well, how many shovels does he have and where does he keep them? So I imagine he just, wanders around pulling a radio flyer wagon full of these shovels.
It does seem like he has unlimited ammo of foldable shovels. It's so weird. Speaking of weird, William Smith is there watching him. I guess he's his CO. And, here's another problem with this movie and what the fuck is going on. I can't understand a goddamn word William says in this entire fucking movie.
No. In one of the rollerblade movies, it's the same way. You're like, okay, I don't know what he's saying. I guess it doesn't matter.
I mean, the problem is he's doing a Russian accent poorly because he's William Smith, but then he's William Smith and he's got a very incomprehensible voice to begin with because it's just the most gravelly of gravel voices. So he's probably saying important stuff, but I got no fucking idea.
No, and I can't tell when he's speaking Russian or when he's speaking English.
Right?
This is true.
And if you're going to speak Russian while being a Russian, you probably shouldn't switch back to be speaking English. Like, you're either going to speak Russian or you're going to speak English in this movie. Don't do both. Like, come on.
I also like that he's a crack scientist.
Oh, he is?
Yeah,
How'd
because
you get
he attaches Sidaris. What's his name? Sidar. Up to a bunch of electrodes.
Electrodes.
You're
doing a good
electrodes
job today.
Yeah, and mind fucks him.
Right.
Why a guy in a business suit stands there and asks questions.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, that was my next question. Who is this guy? Was he just there selling more shovels and he just happened upon this training facility?
Yeah, what are you guys doing with all these shovels? Well, come on, I'll show you.
It's like he's employed by William Smith to be impressed about William Smith. Because that's all he does. Is he walks up, he's like, what are you doing here? I am putting him to level 10. But no one has ever survived level 10. No, nobody has. Like, oh, that's impressive. And then later the same thing, like, oh my, you're doing a good job here.
Right.
Is that, he's just a yes man?
Yeah, he's just a yes man. They need those.
I also want to know why this training exercise was important to prove that the guy had self-preservation.
Right.
Because most people do. When somebody puts an old person in front of me, my first thought is, yeah, go ahead and shoot them. I'm not going to shoot myself. I haven't lived as much life as them, and it's only fair.
Your actual first thought is, hey, an old person. Let's push him down.
That's true too.
Because you're Jackie.
If you're not going to push him down first, I'm not interested.
Let's make this joke serious. Take their life alert bracelet.
Where am I?
Yeah. Did you notice that his mom can't figure out whether it's Sergey,
right.
Sergey, or Sergey?
Right.
But not Sergey at any point. She calls him everything but Sergey. Like, I've seen some blowing it in my days by dinner theater folks, but she is fucking taking the cake.
Oh, she was bad. Real bad. Yeah, they threaten, like, kill yourself. Do it. That's an order. I'm going to shoot your dad. Oh, he still didn't kill himself. I'm going to shoot your mom. You still didn't kill yourself. And that's level 10 that nobody's passed? What? How do you fail level 10?
You shoot yourself in the fucking head.
Well, then that's stupid. Why even have that test? What does that show?
I don't know.
This guy won't follow orders.
He doesn't have good self-esteem.
He fights with shovels. What do you want from him?
He's been chosen by the entire country of Russia to represent them in essentially a tournament fight. Like, what the fuck is this?
You know, and what the fuck that they didn't capitalize on this, because really they could have made so much money for both countries on the side. Have they just opened betting?
Right.
Like the Running Man and let you watch it on live TV.
No kidding. Good call.
And then you
but
could
then
have...
the ratings would be too high and you'd have to have a nuclear war every year.
Oh, that's true. And then it would eventually get into, you'd have to phone people. They'd phone in and they'd have comments and questions and internet chatting about it. And then there'd be a party at somebody's house with excellent cheese dip.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds okay.
Yeah, it'd be like the Super Bowl.
You got a disagreement between two countries? Gladiator style.
We couldn't get Richard Dawson anymore because he's dead, so we'd have to get Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
No, I think it would be better if it wasn't like this. If it was more like you had protective headgear, but then were blindfolded, and then Nerf bats and exposed testicles.
So
last man standing.
It's like genital piñatas.
Yes,
that's how the fate of the world is decided. I think that's a great idea, Sam.
But you know that somebody's going to be a dirty cheater and shove a Nerf baseball bat up somebody's buns.
Of course you were going to say that.
And they're going to be like, "Ah, Gaddafi!" And then they'd be like, "That's cheating." The other guy'd be like, "That's cheating, man."
The only rule is there are no rules.
I've got some logistical questions about a Nerf bat going into somebody's butt, Jackie.
I don't know. I read a dirty novel that you could get some stuff up a butt.
Yeah. Well, you can get stuff up butts.
Probably not a Nerf bat.
No, I don't think
It's squishy, isn't it?
Yeah. How big do you think buttholes are?
Well, I don't know.
Like, I have a hard time getting the poop out. I couldn't imagine a Nerf bat being able to go in there.
All right, listeners, if you think that you can get a Nerf bat up your butt, please email us at stinkermadness.com.
No pictures.
Don't
please.
do that because there's going to be like direct links to 4chan, and it's probably already happened 30 times.
They're like physical proof.
Okay, all right. So Ted Pryor wakes up. He's got a stitch in his side. I don't know what they did there.
That's where they put in the radio.
No, they had to put the radio in his brain. How does
the tracker is in his side? I don't understand why he's been surgery. She's right. That's what the movie tells us.
That's where the tracker's at? Is in his rib cage?
Or whatever she implanted. Like, I'm in your head. Actually, no, I'm in your rib.
Right.
But you can still hear me.
Talking to your lungs right now, buddy.
Ooh, it is gross in here.
It is really gross inside of a body. I didn't think it was going to be this grody, but man, wow. Huh. Ick.
Can you shove
I know
inner
space makes it seem so glamorous.
Right. So he's like, fuck you, lady. What are you doing in my head? She's like, I'm your commanding officer now, and you have to do what I say. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, fuck you. I'm not even in the army. And she's like, oh, yeah, you are. He's like, I'm not doing anything you tell me. And so she zaps him. So she can also, like,
give him a migraine.
Give him a headache? Is that, yeah.
This is also right when I realized, because Ted's landed on thick when he's on the gurney.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But in this scene, I realized that this is a very, very short script. They're having to fill everything. And David's like, Ted, I need you to just make it up as you go, buddy. Give me all of the acting gold right now. And he's delivering what he thinks is acting gold. It's special, but it's not gold.
I never realized that he was so hairy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hairy-chested dude because he's not very hairy in Deadly Prey, which means that he got the old razor out for that.
It was sexy.
Or maybe he did like some sort of biological mind move where he knew he had to have a mullet, so he just willed his chest hair to recede back up into his mullet.
Maybe he cut his pubes for a month and then sprayed himself with spray-on glue and then just threw pubes at it. Oh god, it's like the funniest thing I think I'd ever imagined in my head.
I'm gonna do it once. I'm gonna just shave my pubes, have chest hair for half of a day. Because I know when I show up at the barbecue with my shirt open, most of the pubes are just gonna blow off onto the food.
No cheese dip for you. You just stay away from it.
Is this paprika? Certainly not.
Oh man, pubes.
You can't go swimming either.
No.
You clog up the drain.
Kids are just like sneezing, like, ha ha. Just got hit in the face with a little tuft of pubes.
You also cannot stand too close to the fire. They just smell like burnt hair.
And formaldehyde from the glue.
Yeah. No, so you just like use Aquanet to try to stick it there. So you're flammable, that's coming off, it's all of the bad stuff.
So dumb. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at this.
Because you're thinking of all these things in your head and you're kind of just imagining it happening.
I mean, we talk about a lot of This podcast is pretty much toilet humor hour. We've really stared clear of pubes for a long time, and now we've just got full pubes.
And now pubes have burst from the closet, riding a rainbow, or riding a unicorn down a rainbow.
Okay, all right. Oh boy, let's see if we can move on from pubes. All right, so Ted negotiates a pardon for his court-martialing, which we find out later he was accused of killing 4 of his own men and trying to assassinate the Secretary of State. Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that's the short of it. The long of it is the scene that this is explained in. Boy, these people are long-winded. They're just pausing too much between their... Oh, it's ridiculous. And it's such a really bad, the worst sort of exposition. 2 people in a room telling you what's happening in the movie.
Right. Yeah, so the man who is going to represent us in the Final Sanction to prevent nuclear war is a guy who is in prison for trying to assassinate the Secretary of State. Obviously, that might raise some eyebrows, and it does, at least. There's the senator, whatever his name is like, why this guy? What the fuck, man?
It says here at the bottom, he just got beat up.
Right.
Like 10 minutes before they picked him for this, he was getting beat up by another guy.
So sure enough, he gets his pardon. It's time to train up and get briefed. And Robert Zadar gets briefed by computers like he's in the fucking Matrix. Whoa, I know Kung Fu. And Ted is getting a lecture from some guy he hates.
Yeah. Who's a dick?
Who's a dick?
I like that Robert Zadar's, like, his visual training. Like, he's got a photographic memory. He's going to remember all of this. It's one gun and a map.
Right. And it's not even a map. It's just like a unlabeled terrain map of nowhere. Like, oh boy, he's got all the info he needs now. What info?
None. But he knows how to take apart this gun that he's looked at. That probably isn't even the same gun he brings with him.
No.
Meanwhile, Ted Pryor.
Right, whatever his name.
He's got a list of weapons that he wants.
Uh-huh.
Including a roll of quarters.
Including a roll. What's the quarters for? Laundry.
Yeah. United Nations are none of your fucking business, asswipe.
Yeah.
How about you just go get me this shit and quit lecturing me on these stupid ass maps? You know what, buddy? I'll tell you what it is. It's a fucking square of woods and some abandoned buildings, and you want me to go kill another guy. It's not fucking rocket scientists, okay? I'm sure that you've got, it banded off so we know where the no zone is. You have to stay within the police taped line. But, it's only like 2 football fields, fucker. Like, I'm not going to get lost. Now, go get me some guns and some quarters, butthole.
I like his doodle that he was doing while he was getting briefed. It's the globe, and it's got a for sale sign on the United States. Like, wow, man, Ted, that's some pretty heavy political shit right there, buddy.
Yeah, he was listening to Megadeth before he walked in.
Rest in peace. Yeah. Megadeth's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
I like it.
And that is that artwork was on one of their singles, I think. So
you think?
The For Sale on the Earth thing, Megadeth used that at one point. It was one of the singles off Peace Cells, I think. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. But who's buying? The senator guy, he's like digging into Ted even more. He's like, why the fuck this guy? This doesn't make sense. This pardon could have only come down from the president because, you try to assassinate the Secretary of State. It's kind of a big deal. So what the fuck? Shirley, go to the naval headquarters and get his service records and then drop by the Department of Justice and get the court-martial records. I want to read this shit. And she's like, okie dokie. Walks
He's
out
like,
to her car.
First, go ahead and spend 17 minutes walking to your car.
Right. And then putting all your stuff away inside of the car, put on your seatbelt, check your mirrors, look at your lipstick. You know what? Just dial some different tunes on the radio.
Sure.
Yeah.
She had a lot of wind resistance in her defense from the shoulder pads.
Oh, right.
And that's why it took her so long to walk out to the car. They're heavy, that you're not getting that sleek transition of a nice rounded shoulder. It causes some issues. She could have fallen down.
And you got to go through doorways sideways.
Yeah.
Because of your shoulder pads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow. But she explodes. She gets blown up.
Yeah. Takes forever, but she blows up.
It took us forever,
Puts her keys in slowly.
Right. It's go time now. It's lock and load time. They're both suited up. Robert Zadar's got his shovels. Ted Pryor's got his quarters. There's even a shot of him picking up the quarters.
There is. This is the Rambo 2 lock and load sequence. And Ted Pryor tapes his compass to his gun. Like, that's the sweet move that somebody, like, oh, nobody's ever done that. And there's probably a reason.
Right.
That doesn't seem very practical.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because then you got to, like, hold your gun perfect.
Right.
When it's just so much easier to hold the compass.
Right. You tape a flashlight to it, dum-dum.
I really liked when Sadar put on his Russian headband. Because you just know that the bottom of his face got bigger. That's why he had to do it backwards. So you see him tying it from the back because they're like, don't turn around.
Like his head's a balloon?
Yeah, it's like all the collagen got pushed down from your forehead.
Oh, man, that's really mean. He died a couple years ago, didn't he?
I don't think so. I think he's still alive.
Oh, let's find out. I thought Robert Zadar died, and I thought we actually paid tribute to him on the show. But my memory is failing me. Yeah, he died in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to hurt his feelings. They both enter the combat arena. They start looking for each other. They've got trackers on, so the handler's coming in over Ted Pryor, and I guess Russia's got their own handler that's giving him guidance.
And we all know that Russia is, once again, pointing out that Russia is fucking poor because they don't even have an implanted radio with their guy.
Right.
He has to use this old-fashioned, looks like a hearing aid.
Right, which doesn't make any sense because in the briefing, like, it was like Rocky IV, Russia's got all this high-tech shit, and that's what they're focused on. And then when it's go time, they don't even have as good a shit as what Ted Pryor's got.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, this isn't Rocky IV.
But then he has better stuff, too. Like, he gets shot, and he just puts some gum in there, and now he's, like, juiced, not just not bleeding anymore, but he's, like, all juiced out.
Right. I don't know. Ted stops to set up some traps and flirt with his handler. He's coming around to her and like, hey, baby, I like the sound of your voice. Maybe we should meet up later. And she's like, they finally find each other, and they start shooting at each other. Zadar leads with the shovel, misses. He wings, like, scratches him up a little bit. But both of these guys are terrible shots. It's like watching stormtroopers.
Yeah, no, Cobra Commandos shoot this good.
Right. Yeah. Aim.
Well, in the single combat with the world at fate, America chose a guy who just got beat up.
Right.
And Russia chose a guy who uses shovels for weapons. So this is about how their gunfight is going to go.
Hey, did we ever see if they've ever shot a gun before? Ooh. Oh, we should have looked into that. I know Zadar can wing a shovel pretty good, but I don't know if he's ever fought a gun or ever seen one. Maybe that projection was the first time he ever saw one.
Yeah, they're like, aren't these guys special forces? And somebody looks like, wait, special forces? Yes, that's what they are. It's special forces is where I found these guys.
So Zadar tries to circle around and flank him, but the Russians jam his signal. So now the Pryor's handler is like, I don't know where he is. I can't find him. And he's like, find him, hurry. So she starts hacking through the signal, jamming. We've got some action typing here. But then Robert Z'Dar's right above him, like the fucking Predator. He's just hanging out up there like, oh, I have to wait for the perfect, suspenseful time to leap down on you rather than just doing it.
He was going to
Or
pee
he's
on him.
just sitting up there huffing like, I don't want to turn an ankle.
That's a really long way
It's
down.
a ways down.
Why didn't I just stay down on the ground and shoot him?
Or fall on a shovel.
Right? Or his keys. Oh, man. So Ted's laying on his back, and Robert Z'Dar steps over his trip line, but Ted chucks a stick at it and blows him up. But he's not there. He pulled a Batman and vanished. So that really pisses Ted Pryor off.
Not as bad as, somebody not giving him the microfilm, but he's pretty pissed.
Right. That pisses me off. He gets a date, though, from this. She's like, if I make it out of this, you have to go on a date with me. And she's like, okay. So he's got that to look forward to, at least.
And then she's so
So later-
distracted by his sultry voice
Right.
that she's not even paying attention anymore to the computer. She's just like staring at the wall.
What?
Oh, by the way, now that we know that this guy is shooting at you, he's right there.
Yeah. He also explains that the whole Secretary of State thing was actually pretty similar to what he got charged with, except for he didn't shoot at the Secretary of State. Those 4 guys that he killed, quote unquote, tried to assassinate the Secretary of State, and he got shot in the head, but he's okay from it. And that's all we get. That's the entire explanation. Why were those guys trying to kill the Secretary of State?
I thought
Like,
that they
what
were
the
all
fuck?
defending the Secretary of State, and there was a roadblock with Captain Asshole's guys there. And
Fucking asshole.
the guy he doesn't like.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And his guys were there, and he shot up Ted Pryor's team.
Oh.
And then Ted Pryor killed Captain Asshole's guys, thwarting the attempt at the Secretary of State's life.
So wouldn't like the Secretary of State be like, because he didn't get assassinated, he could have been like, no, that guy was shooting at guys that were shooting at me, so it wasn't him.
He couldn't see anything because his head was being pushed down by the Secret Service guy in the seat next to him.
Or push
Smell my
down.
farts! This is for your own safety.
Can't get in trouble for that. You still saved him.
Yep.
Says I have to save you. Doesn't say I have to like you.
But was it worth it?
Yeah.
If you're the Secretary of State, I'm still alive, but I regret every minute of it. Got stink-faced.
You got the old safety helmet buttercup, huh? Yeah, happened to me a couple times.
Oh, boy. It's nighttime now. Z'Dar's found him. They're shooting at each other pretty poorly. Like, it's not just that they're bad aims, they're bad choosers of shooting time because they're both in cover, and they're only shooting when the other person is in cover. Like, hey, hide so I can shoot at you.
They also just didn't bring enough bullets with them for this sort of gunfight.
Right. Maybe that's why Z'Dar has to use the missile launcher right here. Because he pulls out a missile launcher and blows up Ted Pryor's bunker that he was hanging out in.
And then Ted rigs a trap, lures him into the trap he's actually hurt, but because he takes it. This is where his leg gets fucked up from the rocket launcher, right?
No, that's later. He actually
That's
gets
later.
shot.
He gets
in the leg.
shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back.
This is where he jumps out of the window.
Right.
And it looks like there's an explosion pretty close to him, but it's probably like 400 yards behind him.
Right. Yeah. The handler has gone into the general's office and found the tapes. We have to note that for later. But morning comes back at the tournament fight, and they found each other again. Z'Dar is missed with another shovel. I don't know how he keeps fucking missing and why he's leading with these shovels. He's got a gun. What the fuck? But he finally gets shot in the arm, bandages it up with some gum, like Sam said, and Ted gets shot in the leg and is crawling away. It's like, I gotta get out of here. And Z'Dar's creeping in on him.
So
Because-
after their third encounter, they've actually hit each other now.
Right. Finally, both have been shot. But it seems like Ted's struggling more from getting shot than Robert Zadar, who just put some gum in it.
Yeah, he's got Russian steroid gum.
Uh-huh.
Totally, it's good stuff.
What happens when you chew Russian steroid gum?
Your head explodes.
Yeah, you've seen it. It's in the movie.
But you have some fresh breath.
Sure.
Curiously strong gum. Kaboom. So he's followed the blood trail of Ted Pryor crawling away. He follows it, and it leads to the quarters. And it's so stupid.
He made a smiley face. What's stupid about that?
It's really stupid, Jackie.
Cost him $10.
He, oh, I know I'm going to get in a situation where I got to make a smiley. So give me some quarters.
Yeah. Who says money can't buy happiness? This smile only costs $10.
Right? Have a good day, motherfucker. And he hits the trigger, blows up the whole building that he was in. And so he's like, yeah, it's over, baby. And she's like, it's not over. He's still alive. What? There's no way he's alive. I blew up that whole building. And then we cut to Zadar. And he's got gross face now.
It looks like burnt marshmallow.
He's been burnt pretty bad. He's got the Kansas City brisket char all down his neck.
I thought, yeah, it was like his Two-Face makeup was grape jelly is what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
My favorite was the mannequin that they had flying out of the building right before this shot.
I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah. It was like just the stick figure thing that was like, "Arr!" And it came out of the roof.
Was it supposed to be Robert Zadar?
Yeah.
Getting blown
Ah.
to safety
Yeah.
through the roof?
Yeah.
Yes. It wasn't a good blown to safety because he would have been killed going through the roof and then hitting the ground.
I can see my house from here. It's so dumb. Ted's walking around trying to find him. He gets gun butted in the face. It's his trainer, the guy that he doesn't like from the beginning. And he's going to shoot Ted. He's like, time to die, motherfucker. But Robert Zadar's like, no, he's my guy. And chucks one of his shovels and finally gets somebody with one of them and kills the trainer.
It was an apt way for this guy to die.
But death by shovel?
Yeah.
Death by shovel, yeah.
Because he was supposed to be this great war hero that had all these medals and shit, but you just got fucking garden hosed, okay? Bam! That's a Ginsburg.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. I'm not funny anymore.
I think only RBG can do Ginsburg's, Jackie.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, he's dead by shovel. So now they look at each other, and I thought that they were gonna hug it out here, but instead Zadar's like, "Now we fight without guns," and they start fighting.
They start fighting without guns. And it's not near as good as a Ted Fritz fight, unfortunately.
No. Yeah, it's not.
But what's good for this movie is it maintains the exact spirit and tone that the rest of the film has.
It takes forever.
It takes forever.
There's several rounds. Both of them go down several times. Sometimes via hijinks, sometimes via just casual being lax in your fighting style. At one point, Ted tries to pull the same maneuver that he used to get his butt kicked in the prison, and Robert Zadar just picks him up by his head and chucks him. And then it all comes down to Ted kicking Robert Zadar in the balls, which doesn't hurt him immediately. And then he gets that weird pain in his side and falls over.
Yeah. After he punches him out, he realizes, oh no, he gave me the rabies touch to my nuts. It takes a while to get there, but it gets ya. So he goes down.
Yeah, they both have gone down. They're both laid out. The handler back at base, she's been relieved, and this new guy comes in, and she's like, what the fuck? And Ted and Zadar roll over. They make peace. They're like, fuck war, dude. This is stupid. Why are we doing this? Fuck all this shit. Let's just hang out. But the general's like, no, we got to blow these sons of bitches up. So he orders a countdown to blow up the whole zone, and it explodes right after Ted notices that there's bombs everywhere. So they think they're dead, but they're not.
They're not. No, General sitcom grandpa meets with William Smith.
He was a bad cast.
He was a bad cast.
Like, standing next to William Smith is like, dude, what? You're not diabolical. You're somebody's butler.
Yeah, you're the grandpa that sells jam in the commercials.
He'll give you a Werther's original.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So William Smith and this guy go to where the battle zone was at, and they meet there, and they're like, pretty good outcome, huh? And they're both pretty satisfied with things, but then Ted and Zadar walk up, and they're like, we're not dead. I guess they ripped their trackers out of their bodies with their hands while being exploded in midair?
No, they probably just, because of all of the real fine detail that both governments have been going through.
Yeah.
Both of them were like, well, I guess that's it.
Yep.
Job's done here.
Cleaned up.
Didn't bother to check to see if they were actually dead. They're still blipping on the computer. Fine. There's just nobody at the computer. The only person left at the Pentagon is copying their butt.
And they're like, oh, yeah, well, how about we just kill you guys? And then the fucking senator shows up because he knew where the battle arena was at. He's like, not on my watch. I've got 2 FBI guys with me, and they're going to arrest you, General, for the murder of my secretary.
But he doesn't know her name.
But I don't remember her name at all. Sorry.
I just called her shoulder pads behind her back.
And I said, thank you. Good job, Mrs. My Secretary. I'll miss you forever.
So they arrest the general. They got the tape from his handler. She shows up and she's like, oh, hey, hi. And he's like, oh, ubba. And then Robert Starr just looks at Bill Smith, and Bill Smith says something that is totally unintelligible. And Robert Starr just walks off frame.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a toy.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. I'm a human being.
No, that's what he said to both of the generals when they were walking up.
Yeah.
At the end, he just fucks off. But later, they're all pals, and they're at the fucking, I guess, the Justice Department or the fucking Supreme Court or wherever, and they're like, hey, well, that all worked out. And they walk down arm in arm like it's fucking Indiana Jones and what's her name from fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they're all gonna go on a date.
How long did this take? Because he doesn't have burn face anymore.
He doesn't have burn face anymore.
I think that it was just some shoddy explosives that covered him with grape jam.
It's a prank bomb. It's a comedy bomb.
Oh, okay.
Got
but if your eyes are
old,
open, you could take some serious injury from it.
Yeah, you got fake dog poop and those Groucho Marx glasses and comedy bombs. Yeah.
Comedy bombs, yes.
Just needed to get a wet washcloth and clean off that jam. They're all going out to dinner. Yay! They're all friends.
They're all going to bang later.
Yeah, that's my first question. So, any chance of a 3-way?
I think the chances are high.
I
think
do
the
too.
chances of a casserole afterward are even higher.
Yep, I think that this is going to happen.
I don't know where to start with questions about the plot on this. What the fuck happens? Like, what the fuck happens?
Doesn't the world still end in nuclear winter?
Is it over?
Because they've already shot off the missiles. So wouldn't that mean that Sam's right? We would already be having nuclear fallout.
Right.
And people would be losing their hair and looking like trash. Oh, wait, that's just Alabama.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's Houston this month.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's okay because this film was shot in Alabama, so, that would be accurate, actually.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't fucking understand what happens. And even if there was a resolution, what a bunch of bullshit. We'll just stop doing war because, we could play chess. That's not how, it's not like I know it seems maybe like countries just want to have war all the time, and maybe some do, like certain countries that we live in. But for the most part, war is like, I want that land, or I want your stuff. Not like, oh yeah, I'm tougher than you are.
Yeah.
It's become a hang down competition.
We need access to Parmistan because of their ripe satellite fields.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So you gotta invade Parmistan. You can't just be like, oh, I beat you at Madden, so fucking hand it over, Buster.
Best 2 out of 3. Best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's only fair. I still get to be the Broncos, though. You can be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Boy. Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense, this movie. And I don't think anything gets resolved.
No. Other than that Ted Pryor has a girlfriend now.
Right. Whose flesh is going to start falling off of her because of nuclear fucking winter.
And they won't be able to tell whether that's part of the tuna casserole or not. Screw it. Just eat it.
Yep.
Hey, is that pubes? Yep, it's me. That's actually my crotch fell into that.
Yep.
So here's a weird question. If you're going to have a hang down contest, wouldn't you want the oldest man you could find? Because you could count the balls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
They
Is
would
that
hang
how it
down,
works? I don't
like-
know how it works.
Like,
I guess that guy wins, but what do you win? Longest balls. Yay.
there's a trophy and everything. That's how we decide world domination now.
There's a trophy and a fortune cookie that says you should buy briefs now.
It's time. Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't. What the fuck, man? Who's next? Who's got questions?
So Robert Zadar's just a citizen of America now?
I think so.
He said he had diplomatic immunity.
That doesn't mean that you get to
That doesn't-
live it. Like,
Yeah.
And also, diplomatic immunity applies to the root word diplomats.
Yeah.
So can you kill hookers if you have diplomatic immunity?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. Diplomatic immunity's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it's it's a real slippery slope.
Yeah. Lethal Weapon 2. You know?
I need to be a diplomat.
Doesn't
Where do I sign up?
Oh yeah, diplomatic immunity, and then he shoots him in the brain, and he's like, "It's been revoked."
Oh God, yeah, that's
what
right.
Murtaugh says. Murtaugh's awesome.
It's been that's my family's boat.
I love those movies. They're so stupid.
They're so stupid, but you can just watch them. You can. That's
Yeah,
the
you
thing.
can
You
just
watch the
watch
first one, you got to watch the next 3. It just happens.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess it doesn't make any sense. This is one of the dumbest movies we've ever done.
Have one more question.
Okay.
When the senator comes at the end and he's like, I've thwarted your multi-international schemes, I brought these FBI guys with me. Isn't that above their pay grade? Shouldn't he be bringing somebody else there?
No, I think when it comes to that, the FBI does that. Like,
All right.
they arrested Roger Stone, the FBI.
Well, if you want
did
it fucked
they?
up, you go with ATF.
Well, yeah, if you want it,
Boom, Ruby Ridge.
yeah, if you want a shit show, we'll talk about that on Wednesday, Jack.
Yeah, he's like, I brought these 2 guys from the ATF, and then they start doing 3 Stooges things to each other, just punching each other in the balls.
I think the FBI arrests politicians. I think that's who does that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. It's the CIA who buys politicians. Hey-o.
Sure. Well, I was thinking it would be military police or something like that because he's a general.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, fuck, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, he's not really a general. He plays one on TV, so who cares?
Then they take all of his Werther's originals out of his pockets and they're like, we'll confiscate these, old man.
No, those are my hard candies. I need those. Hey, would anybody want to see my balls? They're really, it's a hang down contest.
Look at the pubes on that one.
I'm gonna miss out on the hangdown tournament next week.
Yeah, I could never go to jail because I would get the shit kicked out of me.
You think?
Because I would just be so fucking rude. Because I would just start laughing and somebody'd be like, "What are you laughing at?" I'd be like, "You're saggy titties, bitch." I'd just sit there and laugh my ass off and they'd be beating me to death. And I'd still be laughing because I'd be like, "Look at him sway."
Death by comedy.
Oh my God, a nipple hit me in the eye. I cannot go to prison.
No, you cannot. You wouldn't make it. Are we ready to do final recommendations here?
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, let's start with you.
It's his movie.
So let's start with him.
Okay. Yes, it is a do. I would say, though, if you've seen it recently, I don't know that I'd do it again yet.
Okay.
I think that there's like, if you've never seen it, definitely do. If you have seen it and you're going to show it to some people that haven't, do. But if you're like, oh, I don't remember I kind of remember this being boring. Should I watch it? No, it's kind of boring.
Okay. Jackie?
I'm going to give it a do. I
Okay.
thought it was funny, and I like to see Ted Pryor act like an asshole,
Mm-hmm.
which he does a fantastic job of.
Sure does. Sure does. I'm gonna give it a do too. It's not great. It's not great, guys. It is tedious. It's very slow and kind of boring, but it is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Like, not thought out in any way. In like every scene, not just the plot, but like just small vignettes of the plot is stupid. Like, just not smart in any way. So if you like dumb, this is about as dumb as it gets. But 6 out of 10 for me. So it's just over the hump. But
it's a riffer's paradise though, because of its long gaps and stupid shit. So if you have one where there's a bunch of people there and you're doing a bad movie night, nobody's seen it. Yeah, this one, if you do the riffing, this is like a prime rib for riffers right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is probably why it's one of MST3K's most popular episodes. Because
I haven't seen that version.
yeah, we should probably check that out at some point.
It's.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. I think it's on.
Hopefully they didn't do our same pube joke. What do you think the chances on that?
In the prison fight joke.
Yeah. Pretty out of character for them. Next week is Jackie's pick. What are we gonna do?
I'm torturing you guys with a movie that was suggested to me by a neighbor.
Okay.
It is on Disney Plus.
Okay.
So if you have Disney Plus, and it's called Cat in Space.
Nope, that's not what it's called.
It's the cat from outer space.
Yeah, the cat from outer space.
The cat from
I used to love this movie when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since I was like 8 though.
Right. So we know how that goes, Sam.
Yeah. Oh. So it might be good too.
I have never seen it, but the few things that I was told about it made me laugh my ass off. And so I was like, we got to go down this road.
Yeah.
I got to go check it out.
Yeah. So that will be next week. We'll have another Corona-sode on Thursday for you. And I hope you guys have a great week. And remember to get into the chopper. Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter at Stinker Madness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.